What do you remember about the 1985 Patriots? 40 years later, we're going back to tell the story of the first Patriots team to make it to a Super Bowl, a special team that blazed a pathway that we much traveled over the next 4 decades. Hear from the players and coaches, as well as the sounds from television and radio that define the season, as we uncover what made this a Patriots team to remember, even if they didn't win a Super Bowl championship.
Hector stopped by Tippett. Annihilative might be a better word.
Intercepted. Patriots. David Claiborne. Runs it back. Touchdown. New England. The defense scores. Rogan's back looking to throw. Fires this one to Pryor. Touchdown. Stanley Morgan. Touchdown. Still going. Is that one? Is that 35 to 40 to 25 to 20, 50 to 5. He's got it all. Touchdown. There's Irving Pryor running it all the way for a touchdown. 85 yards. Irving Pryor. Decent rolling out to the right side, avoiding the pressure. On the run. He throws. Complete for a touchdown. Lynn Dawson in the end zone. 6 points, Patriots. Touchdown, Patriots. Tony Collins, the Patriots have the lead.
I'm Mike Dussault, and this is a Patriots Super Bowl Sound Odyssey, 1985. Episode 8, Squish the Fish.
But we will go down to Miami. Don Shula is standing by at his home. Don, we have to keep it brief, but obviously, although the Patriots will be no picnic, you're gratified to be playing at home.
Much rather be playing at home. I know how tough it is to beat the Raiders out there, or to try to beat them, and this is why you have to give New England and Raymond Berry credit for a great job all year long, and in particular today.
Patriots had beaten the Jets in the wild card round, and then the Raiders in the divisional round, and now they were poised for their first appearance in the AFC Championship. The opponent was one they knew inside and out, the Miami Dolphins with quarterback Dan Marino. For 2 decades, Miami had been a graveyard for the Patriots. They hadn't won there since 1966.
Quarterback Dick Wood throws to Carl Noonan, who in turn flips to Joe Auer. And Auer goes the rest of the way on this exciting 38-yard razzle-dazzle play. However, the Dolphins fall 1 touchdown shy as Jim Nantz becomes the new AFL single-season ground-gaining king, and the Patriots win 20-14.
This would be the biggest game ever played between the 2 divisional rivals. The Dolphins were the defending AFC East champions. Dan Marino was the league's golden arm, the only quarterback to solve the 1985 Bears defense. The recent history, even away from the Orange Bowl, was rich between the 2 franchises. In 1982, the Patriots had defeated the Dolphins in Foxborough 3-0, when a snowplow cleared a spot for field goal kicker John Smith to secure the game's only points.
Snowplow driver Mark Henderson, a convicted burglar employed at the stadium on a weekend work furlough program, rode to the rescue and cleared a small area that enabled the Patriots to get a toehold for a field goal.
But Miami would get their revenge, knocking New England out of the playoffs during the same strike-shortened season.
But I remind you of the fact that until this year, they'd been under the same system. Chuck Fairbanks, I believe, came to New England in 1973, and Ron Earhart succeeded him, so they were basically under the same system. This is the first year in the Ron Myers system, and they're 5-4, as you said. There are some real positives.
New England had beaten the Dolphins in Week 9, with Grogan orchestrating some late-game heroics.
Grogan rolling. Grogan. Touchdown.
But the Dolphins had held on in the rematch to secure the division title and home field advantage.
A lot of time for Easton. He overthrows it. This time it will be picked off. Glenn Blackwood had another opportunity. He took no chances. He hook slid out of the 25-yard line. Pass intended for Derek Ramsey, and the Dolphin players are going bananas.
With their first 2 NFL playoff wins under their belt, the Patriots were the toast of New England, with a fan rally held in downtown Boston before they departed for Miami.
For those who have been with the team since those balmy days at Old Braves Field, it redeems a degree of patience that can only be described as saintly. Saintly fans, Mike.
I'm telling you, it's been a long time, and it has been a wild week for the Patriots and all of New England as the preparations were on for another trip to the Orange Bowl and another matchup with the Dolphins.
The rally was one of the most memorable parts of the playoff run for players like 10-sack rookie standout Garen Veras and 1,000-yard rusher Craig James.
Before we went to Miami, the rally at Government Plaza in Boston. I mean, that to this day is one of the most exciting things that ever happened to me. I mean, I would have loved to won the World Championship and had another rally there at the Government Plaza or a parade, but we didn't get there, but that's one memory I remember is Squish the Fish, and that game will always be called Squish the Fish game. And I still see T-shirts being sold on eBay and everything else, and I still have some of the Squish the Fish stuff, and just a lot of fun times in Boston and the whole New England region at that time.
Tell me how long you've been a Patriot fan.
All my life.
Can you believe this has finally happened?
I think we deserve it. We got a great bunch of fans here in New England, and this part of the world deserves the Patriots. They're beautiful. And we're going to turn it all around this year, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there to see the biggest win the Pats have had. We're number one.
Man, there was a pep rally.
Yeah.
Some guy came up to me and he had tattooed on his deal, Craig James. He goes, Squish the Fish. And I was like, oh, dude, is that a permanent marker or is that real? Right?
Squish the Fish became the official rallying cry as the Patriots tried to make history, inspiring the first musical jingle of the playoff run.
Squish the fish. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Squish the fish. Come on, people, say it with me. Squish the fish.
Patriots founder Billy Sullivan could feel the weight of the moment as the Patriots fans finally had something to rally around.
The fans of the game. Without them, we don't need owners, coaches, players. And these fans coming out here today, they've waited so long. It's a reward that I hope we can give them because they deserve it.
No one knew better what it was like than quarterback Steve Grogan, one of the veteran holdovers from the 1970s who lived the team's tortured history.
There's some of us players that have waited a long time for this. And we know there's a lot of you that have waited even longer, and the time is now. Thank you.
Even the Boston media descended upon Miami for the big game, with local radio personality Eddie Edelman stoking the fan fires.
266-1100 is the number here on WHGH in the Sports Huddle. And a very quick reminder that in about 15 minutes, we will be hooking up with a Miami Radio Talk sports show. And we want you people to really give them the old raspberry. Let them know what it's like to be a passionate New England sports fan that really cares about your team and not lay back waiting for fishing reports. Give it to them right between the eyeballs.
As the Patriots left the rally, the longest tenured player Julius Adams signed off with a succinct message.
I just want to say one thing. We're going down here, we're going to rip their faces off. Right.
January 12th, 1986. The Patriots returned to the Orange Bowl filled with confidence, despite their lack of success there. Head coach Raymond Berry copied his plan from Los Angeles, having the Patriots travel early to get acclimated to the Florida humidity. The weather would play a role and feed perfectly into a game plan that would lean heavily on the offensive line and running backs.
Here we are at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida for the AFC Championship game. Whoever would have believed in the early part of the season that the Patriots would be here?
Patriots have not won here in 18 straight games. This one is for the right to play in Super Bowl 20.
Patriots GM Patrick Sullivan saw favorable conditions for his team.
It was kind of rainy, not pouring rain, sloppy, but it was a bit sloppy down there. So, to have a running attack and then an offensive line that complemented the running attack the way our guys did really sealed the deal down there.
First question, it'll be answered early. Can the New England Patriots run the football effectively against these Miami Dolphins? The Dolphins were not able to stop the run in the Super Bowl last year. It killed them. And last week, Cleveland swept them off their feet with the running game.
Patriots players Cedric Jones and Andre Tippett were already confident when they saw the rain.
And then we went to Miami. We're down there, stayed for a week, got acclimated to the heat, and we just ran the ball. It's rainy. And I was so impressed with so many Patriots fans were at the hotel. Squish the fish, as we boarded the buses. And we had so much momentum going into that game. I knew we were going to win that game. It was really exciting.
It was a different game. It was wet. They couldn't pass the ball as much as they thought they could, and they couldn't run the ball as effectively as they could. And it fell right into what we do well.
The crowd will be a Miami ally, as it has been in the last 15 years, and they'll make it tough on the Patriots, but the weather, a normal friend of the Dolphins, will favor the Patriots today. It's cool in the mid-60s. The winner goes to Super Bowl 20 against the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was pounded on us, through the media and papers and the Dolphins, and, that the Patriots had not won in, I think, 18 straight games in Miami. And, the role that we had been on, if we could beat the Jets, if we can beat the Raiders, why can't we beat the Dolphins to get to the Super Bowl? And I think from the get-go, I think the Dolphins knew that this was a different New England Patriot team coming in.
The verbal challenges of the past week are over. It's time to play.
The Patriots' plan was obvious from the start, with 5 straight runs that picked up just 1 first down before they had to punt away their first possession. Center Pete Brock loved a game plan that leaned on him and the offensive line.
Raymond Berry and the coaching staff put the game plan together, and they said, okay, we've with all the film, and we went down there and trained. We went down there, so we were ready for Wednesday practice down in Miami, and it was a kind of a wet, muddy track and the whole bit. But he stood in front of us and said, okay, we've got a game plan. We did all this film breakdown, and we've determined that Dan Marino has a difficult time scoring from his own bench area. That just light up the room with the smiles on the offensive line saying, we possess the ball, we're going to win. And that's exactly what we did.
That's also the kind of thing that the New England Patriots did so effectively in their first 2 wins against the Jets and against the Raiders, running out of that shotgun formation. Miami, of course, knowing that they like to do that, well equipped for it, was able to stop it on that play.
The first drive didn't produce, but the Patriots defense continued its torrid takeaway pace, with Steve Nelson punching the ball out on Miami's first offensive play and rookie Garen Veras recovering it.
Dan Marino ready to move the Dolphins on offense for the first time. Had another outstanding year, 30 touchdowns, led the National Football League. He did erase a Bob Greasy record, and that pleased our colleague today. Most interceptions in a year by a Miami quarterback. He threw 21. But
that's one you're glad to have off your back.
He has with him Tony Nathan, excellent all-purpose back, and of course, incredible speed on the outside, Duper and Clayton, and they start with 3 wide receivers as veteran Nat Moore joins the magic markers, Clayton and Duper. Nathan, fumble, and New England has it. The Patriots in the 2 playoff victories have picked off 10 turnovers, given up the ball only twice, a +8. And on the first play from scrimmage, Garen Veras, the rookie from Stanford, gets it for the Red Shirts.
Again, it comes back to Raymond Berry doing those drills every single day.
The Patriots would get all the way to the Miami 1-yard line, but couldn't get into the end zone with bruising backs Mosi Tatupu and Robert Weathers.
Robert Weathers, Mike Charles, the 285-pound nose tackle, drops him for a loss.
Instead, they'd open the scoring with a Tony Franklin field goal.
Tony Franklin, who has kicked 6 out of 7 in the playoffs, will try not much more than an extra point. And New England has scored first.
The Patriots kept doing the things that already helped them win 2 playoff games. After grabbing a takeaway on Miami's first offensive play, the special teams forced another fumble on the kickoff, one that the Dolphins were lucky to recover. Ronnie Lepet highlighted that it wasn't just the defense getting the takeaways, but the special teams as well, led by future Patriots Hall of Famer Dante Scarnecchia.
Thus far, New England's had the ball for 10 scrimmage plays. Miami just 1. Franklin to kick it off. Lorenzo Hampton, the rookie from Florida, deep. It's short. Hampton at the 11. And Miami recovered. Lorenzo Hampton able to fall on his own miscue, and did he take a lick? Of course, last week, reflecting on the win over the Raiders, it was that kind of play that led to the Patriot victory.
Aggressive special teams hitting in 3 out of the last 4 games.
Man, our special team players, they could go play anywhere and start. I mean, the guys that backed us up and the guys that play on nickel and dime, they can go anywhere and start. So we had guys that played special team, could start anywhere, and they went down there and did the job.
To go down to Miami in the championship game and beat a team that had beaten the Bears and the team that, we hadn't beaten down there in 19 years. So, to go down, and we really played well. I mean, we played well everywhere, and the guys did a great job and won that game and then went to the championship game.
Miami would go 3 and out on their second possession. Then New England would punt it right back. And that's when Marino and the Dolphins started to rally, putting together a sustained scoring drive that would take the game into the second quarter.
Johnson, touchdown! The tight end from Iowa State, and Miami leads for the first time. 14 minutes, 39 seconds remaining in the first half, and it's Miami 7, New England 3.
Miami took a 7-3 lead, but for the rest of the second quarter and all of the third, it would be all Patriots.
And again, it was our special teams doing things, making things happen. It was our need to show these guys that we could win down in Miami. And it was the last game that was going to be played at that stadium before they tore the stadium down or whatever they did, the closing of it. But it was, reenacting what he had said early in the year about how we've been delayed, but we would not be denied. And we took full advantage of it. It was a great game. It was surreal.
On their third possession, the Patriots leaned on power backs Weathers and Tutupu. And after some early short gains, Weathers exploded through the line for a 45-yard gain.
Robert Weathers all the way to the Miami 8-yard line, and the Patriot fans cheer.
3 plays later, Tony Collins would finish off New England's first touchdown drive with a 4-yard reception.
Morgan to the right, Starring to the left. Eason likes to go to his tight end. He's got Derek Ramsey left. Touchdown, Tony Collins. Eason doing a good job, the young quarterback showing patience. He didn't hurry the throw, and finally, Collins, with that much time, broke free.
New England took a 10-7 lead, and once again, the defense would quickly get the ball back to Eason in the offense.
Fumble, and who's got it? No signal yet. It's New England. Lester Williams, a former Miami Hurricane, played his college ball in this stadium. Bad exchange, and another turnover to the Patriots.
Eason stayed efficient through the air, completing a 12-yard pass to Stanley Morgan to set up a 1-yard touchdown pass to tight end Derek Ramsey.
Morgan wide open. It'll be first and goal, New England, at about the 1.5 yards. Morgan looked like a ball in a pinball machine, the way he was getting hit about, but maintained possession. First and goal. New England trying to add to a 10-7 lead. Eason on the bootleg. Touchdown. Derek Ramsey.
Down 17-7, Marino orchestrated another solid drive, hitting big passing plays to Mark Duper for 11 yards, Mark Clayton for 16 yards, and Bruce Hardy for 29 yards. But New England's defense would get a red zone stop at their own 14, and the Dolphins would miss the field goal attempt, quelling the momentum change.
This is a 31-yard attempt by Reves, who missed only 5 all year. Oh, bad snap. And that's going to be wide to the right. No good.
The teams traded final punts to cap off the first half. The Patriots have stuck to their playoff-winning formula by forcing 2 turnovers, winning time of possession with a consistent ground game, and delivering just enough passes to keep the defense honest. Rookie Garen Veras continued his playoff dominance, picking up the Patriots' first sack of the game to cap off an impressive half.
And Marino, the best protected quarterback in the league, sacked for the first time. And Veras, the rookie from Stanford, who had 10 sacks on the year, along with Tippett, gets the initial sack for New England today.
We loved getting quarterbacks, whether Tip and I, putting pressure on the quarterback, and then Dan Marino, he would always get so upset at his linemen that he'd be cussing them out on the field. So that's when we knew we had him. And, I can remember Tip saying a couple times, talking to one of their offensive linemen, you going to let Dan talk to you like that? And so we knew we had them all shook at that point when they were arguing with each other.
The Patriots have certainly been opportunistic in this game and throughout the playoffs. 2 turnovers leading to 10 of their 17 points today. They have forced 12 turnovers in 2.5 playoff games thus far, with the wins over the Jets and the Raiders. Counting the 17 points they've scored against Miami, they have 70 playoff points thus far. 47 of them set up by turnovers.
But Dick, let's go back to our theorem of the card game. Right now, Raymond Berry is sitting there with even more chips than he started with. His conservative philosophy, his style is playing perfectly for him. I don't think he's going to change. He can afford to be patient, let his defense do the work, hope for some more turnovers. On the other hand, Don Shula, who already had to play aggressive, high-risk football, almost has to play double up and catch up.
The second half will be more of the same for the Patriots, right from the opening kickoff.
17-7 as we open the second half. Hampton at the 9. He has some running room. Fumbles, and Greg Hawthorne recovers for New England. Oh my, the turnover table continues to rock in the direction of the Patriots.
It was New England's third takeaway of the game and instantly set the tone for the second half. Patriots GM Patrick Sullivan traced the season-long run of turnovers back to Berry and the fumble drills he put his team through from day one.
Coming out of that locker room, you establish the momentum of the second half in this first series. Miami, with all its plans offensively and with all its thoughts, suddenly is on defense again.
You know, they always regarded Don Shula as the great one, and you know, among the top. And he certainly belongs among the top 3 or 4 head football coaches in history, no question about that. But he was totally outcoached in this game by Raymond Berry. They're former teammates at the Colts, and Raymond outcoached him. Now that was a real. The players executed perfectly, but that was a real coaching victory. He hated turnovers, and he taught the team not to turn the ball over. You know, it was really ingrained in their head.
6 straight running plays would get the Pats down to the Miami 2. Robert Weathers was stopped short on 3rd down, and faced with a 4th and 1 from the 2, Berry went for it.
Having made conservative decisions up to this point, what does Raymond Berry do? I think he's going to go for it. That's interesting, isn't it?
But not out of character. He has been, while conservative, also a gambler all season long. Big play early in this second half. Wide open, Weathers, touchdown, flag is down. Robert Weathers all alone. A flag is down in the end zone. It could be, no, it is not. It's against Miami. Touchdown will stand, and the Patriots, ever closer, have opened a 23-7 lead.
Eason's play-action pass to Weathers extended the lead to 24-7. It was Eason's second TD throw of the game, as the third-year quarterback continued his playoff hot streak. Bruising back Robert Weathers was excited to become a bigger part of the game plan. It will be the only receiving touchdown to Weathers' career, and his 87 rushing yards were the second highest. It was another example of getting contributions from everyone.
You know, as a game, we were trying to close it out. I remember they were really coming hard at us. Supposed to go out like I'm blocking for Mosi and just slip past him, and Tony just laid it out there. I was scared I was going to drop it.
And Berry willing to go with the unusual play, the play-action pass in 3rd and inches.
Miami continued to struggle to move the ball. After 3 straight Marino incompletions, they were forced to once again punt the ball back to the Patriots. But that's when the turnover issues flipped to New England.
Dying spiral. James fumbles. And the Dolphins have recovered. A flag is down. Bud Brown recovered the ball. Let's see if it counts.
May have been a question.
There's the first mistake by New England. Let's see how it picks up Miami.
It seemed like just the break that the Dolphins needed, and the momentum swing continued on Miami's first play off the takeaway.
Oh, Miami gets a break at the 43, trailing 24-7 with 11 minutes plus remaining in the third quarter. Joe Carter, the second-year man from Alabama. What a run by Carter to the 24.
But the Patriots wouldn't blink, and Fred Marion grabbed an interception for New England's 4th takeaway of the game.
Second and short, Marino into the end zone, intercepted. Fred Marion. And Marion, who has an interception in each of the playoff games, has made it a hat trick. 3 for 3, and the Dolphins denied again.
Up by 17, New England lead even harder on their rushing attack, draining the time in the third quarter with an 8-minute drive that featured 11 runs and just 1 pass, converting a 3rd down and a 4th down along the way. Craig James' 13-yard run was the longest play of the drive, as New England continued to grind it out and take Miami's will.
It was a muddy mess, and, you know, you were mud deep into your ankles and that kind of stuff. And we ran for just shy of 250 yards in that game. But we ran the ball the whole time. You know, we just kind of smashed them in the mouth and then did play action when we got inside the 20, and we were fortunate enough to score with it. But that was, you know, relying on the offensive line. And
well, we've been talking about that Patriot offensive line. 3 first-round draft picks on the left side of the line: Holloway, Hanna, and Brock.
You know, not only did we train ourselves to recover fumbles, but we trained ourselves not to fumble. I mean, that was another one of those things. But that was that Miami game, I think, was the epitome of my career. Not only did it just win the AFC Championship for us, but it did it on the shoulders of the offensive line.
Tony Franklin with an apparent 41-yard field goal attempt. If successful, it would be a 3-touchdown lead for New England. It is no good. Wide to the left. One of the few things Dolphin fans have had to cheer about in this second half.
Tony Franklin missed the 41-yard field goal, but it was an effective drive that continued to pile the pressure on a potential Miami comeback.
Drives the ball to the 10. Fumble. Miami, who has it? Dolphins.
Marino and Miami would struggle to mount a response, but a second fumble by Roland James, filling in for Irving Fryer at punt returner, set up their second score of the game.
Marino shotgun, wants to get it on the board in a hurry. He's got it. Tony Nathan. Exactly what Miami had to have, a 5-second touchdown drive.
Suddenly, Miami was within 10 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and their defense would force a 3-and-out, giving Marino the chance to close within one score. The Miami crowd was back in it. The game was entering its most critical phase.
Dick, we wondered why Raymond Berry had them turn up those sound on those speakers so loud. Now we know.
Miami took over at their own 38-yard line, and that's when the Patriots' most tenured veteran, the oldest defensive lineman in the league at the time, Julius Adams, made a championship-sealing play, recovering a fumble.
Carter, fumble, and I believe Julius Adams has it for New England. He does, the veteran.
Adams had seen it all. A 1971 second-round pick, he'd lived through the ups and downs of the 70s. Now, with the game on the line and an AFC Championship at stake, the old vet made one of the biggest plays of his career.
Carter, who has given the extra effort throughout this game, but you had a feeling when you get hit that many times and bounced around, somebody's going to finally knock it free. And Adams was the man who finally saw that precious pumpkin, and the New England Patriots have it again.
The Patriots offense re-engaged their run game, and Craig James and Tony Collins led them to the promised land. Collins converted a 3rd and 7 on the ground to keep the drive alive. New England had gone over 200 yards rushing.
New England has now rushed for 200 yards.
Too many men on the field for Miami as Betters just barely made it off.
There's the play that worked against the Raiders, and it pays off again today. Collins out of the shotgun. That was such a big weapon in beating the Raiders in Los Angeles last week, that particular play.
James got them down to the 1, and Mosi Tatupu finished the drive with a touchdown, extending the lead to 31-14, while the possession consumed another 5 minutes of game time. Super Bowl 20 was within sight.
Mosi Tatupu, touchdown! And with just 7.5 minutes late, even a great quarterback on an outstanding team is going to have trouble making up that deficit. It's 30-14.
New England Patriot fans have felt all year that their team was not getting enough respect. Believe me, they have earned the respect of the entire league and the entire country, winning on the road against the Jets, winning on the road against the Los Angeles Raiders, and apparently winning here to end the last of those big jinxes.
I think any championship team, I was blessed to have been on a state championship in Texas in high school. Arguably the best team I ever played on, a really good team. College championship teams, and then the NFL playing on an AFC championship team. Every one of those teams had a common denominator: selfless, team. Teams win. Individuals don't win.
Miami put together a desperation drive, leaning on Marino's arms as they once again drove deep into New England territory. But that's when another Patriots veteran who had seen it all stepped up and delivered the team's 6th turnover.
So now 4th down and Biscayne Bay to go for the Dolphins. Duper again, intercepted by Claiborne. And Raymond Claiborne completes a cycle of superb coverage as he picks off the pass, the 6th turnover of the game for the Patriots. And are they whooping it up in grand old New England? The Patriots, always a quality team, great players, and Raymond Berry has made them believe that they are what they have proved to be, a great team.
Raymond Claiborne went to the Pro Bowl in 1985 and put an exclamation point on the season that would eventually help land him in the team's Hall of Fame.
Well, there were 10,000 people, didn't they say, waiting to meet them when they came home from Los Angeles? One has to wonder what it's going to be like when they come home from this victory.
We have a moment. Yes, let's acknowledge our Budweiser most valuable players for this championship game. Raymond Claiborne of the New England Patriots and his teammate on defense, linebacker Don Blackman.
Head coach Raymond Berry remained locked in until the very end, even as the celebration was already getting started on the sidelines and back in New England.
I was looking through some old notes on Raymond Berry when he took the job last year, and they certainly apply. Berry said that his biggest coaching influence was his dad, Mark, there in Paris, Texas, and he said, I learned these things from my dad. Always believe you can win. 2, convince your players of their potential. 3, insist on balance, run, pass, kick, and special teams. Can you be more prophetic than that? That's exactly what he's done. Those were the words of Berry when he took the job as a so-called interim job a year and a half ago.
After a final failed attempt by Marino and the Dolphins, the Patriots were kneeling in victory formation, sealing their first AFC Championship and completing a 3-game road trip to the Super Bowl.
Would you just, I'll tell you what, Raymond, we'll chip in. We'll throw in our booty here just to see you jump in the air once. Show me some emotion. Come on, you're almost going to go to the Super Bowl. His idea of getting emotional is to smile hard.
Dick, I had a chance to sit down and talk to Raymond Berry, and I said, are you having fun? And Raymond said, he said that being the head coach of New England is kind of like being on a trip through the desert. He said most of it is hard work and it's difficult and you're out there all day long. And he said, finally, you come to an oasis and for a brief time you can drink deeply. And he said that's the best part of the job is those brief stops at the oasis. Well, last week, there are palm trees in Los Angeles. They had that oasis there. And I believe looking out here, there are some palm trees right outside the stadium. I think this might be the sweetest oasis that he's stopped at so far. And I got to tell you, inside, even though he's not showing us, he has to be bursting with joy.
For veteran Steve Nelson, it was the perfect time to break the losing streak in Miami.
They were good, and we just, for whatever reason, and we played them early in the season where it was really hot down there, so we always blamed the weather. And then we got beat after Christmas, so it wasn't the weather, And they had a good teams, and we always did well when we played them up here. But for some reason, that was a game where we got over in the most important game that we ever played in Miami.
The Lamar Hunt Championship Trophy for the American Football Conference title. That will go in, well, if you'd have said back in the middle of the season, New England Patriots would be the American football champions, especially after a 2-3 start, you might have to run for cover. They would want to put a straitjacket on you. But Berry has brought this team together and made them believe, and they have certainly played to their talent.
7 Patriots players went to the Pro Bowl, with future Pro Football Hall of Famer Andre Tippett and his 16.5 sacks leading the way. But it wasn't just the star players that got the Patriots their first AFC Championship. It was the total team effort.
You got to be on a good football team to get the acknowledgement. You could be on some bad teams and not get the acknowledgement and still play great. But, it was just, we were all playing at a high level. And, I don't get there without my teammates.
Quarterback Tony Eason turned in a third straight game without a turnover, as the third-year quarterback perfectly executed his role in getting the Patriots to the Super Bowl.
Tony Eason, 69% completions, conservative attack, albeit 5 touchdowns, no intercepts.
He has done exactly what Raymond Berry asked him to do.
As the clock expired, the team hoisted Raymond Berry onto their shoulders. Not even the stoic Berry could contain his joy.
Raymond Berry, with 45 seconds left.
And there was the smile we asked for. I wonder if he's ever been carried off the field.
I bet there were times Unitas wanted to.
I bet there were too. Almost embarrassed by that success, but loving every minute of it.
You can almost say, away we go is the story for the New England Patriots. They're on their way to New Orleans. And Concord and Brockton and Foxborough and Boston and the fans who have supported this team and know the other end of the emotion. Today, they can cheer with the New England Patriots. New England, champions of the American Football Conference.
31-14. New England ending all kinds of streaks. They go to the Super Bowl as a wild card team. Only one wild card team has ever won it. That was the Raiders a few years back. They also accomplished it in New Orleans. They end the long winning streak of the Dolphins at 8, and they snap the jinx that had gone back to 1966. They lost 18 in a row at the Orange Bowl. Not today. They dominated, taking the ball away from the Dolphins 6 times.
Inside the locker room, Lamar Hunt presented the AFC Championship trophy named after him to Billy Sullivan. It was the biggest highlight of the Patriots' 25-year history.
Now for the presentation for the AFC Trophy, Championship Trophy by Lamar Hunt. Lamar?
Thanks. In 1960, the Patriots joined 7 other renegades to form the American Football League. And now 26 years later, that championship day has come for the Patriots. The last of those original 8, Bill, to win a championship over the old Americans. And I think so highly of this man. He's the guy that was the father of it. He nurtured it. He kept it alive all through the years. And it gives me a fantastic pleasure to present the AFC Championship Trophy to Bill Sullivan, to my friend Raymond Berry, and to the New England Patriots.
My dad was the founder. I was 8 years old, so I had nothing to do, you know. But it was his vision. And when I looked at him, he's holding that trophy up. I said, "Well, you know what? He basically has almost reached the pinnacle. He's got one more step for the pinnacle." And you know, it was very emotional for him because it was the Lamar Hunt Trophy that was handed to him by Lamar Hunt, who was the head of the American Football League, who agreed to admit Boston in, and Lamar and my dad ended up being very good friends. In fact, you know, when Lamar was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, he asked my dad to give his induction speech, which is it's a significant honor. So that particular moment was quite emotional and really exciting. Really exciting.
Ahmad, I must say this, that if there's a happier man in the world than I don't know who he is. And I must thank God for all of his blessings, but particularly for bringing Raymond Berry, the loyalty of our fans, the loyalty of our family.
All right, congratulations. Raymond, it just seems to me that it doesn't matter where you guys play. You've been on the road 3 weeks and you just keep turning it up.
It's hard to believe this is all happening. We thought we could do it, but when it happens, it's still hard to believe. We have so much to be thankful for, and for Mr. Sullivan and Pat and Dick Steinberg, who get all these players here, and our coaching staff, and our football team, and our fans. It's hard to believe it's happening.
Dan Marino said he said, "I can't believe you guys beat us." I said, "We had no doubt in our mind we were going to physically beat you.
It's exactly what happened.
You were not going to take that game from us," and that was the kind of attitude. I remember the exuberance, the excitement that we had after the game, dancing on the sideline. And I remember saying, "Man, we got one more game, man. Let's go do this one more time."
Traditional football at its best, and I think we can look forward to New Orleans.
Gee, if we only could have a contrast in coach's personality going into the Super Bowl. It'll be Mike Ditka and Raymond Berry, 2 former assistant coaches under Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys. Will meet 2 weeks from now in New Orleans.
To look back on it, I mean, just to realize of what was on what was at stake, losing so many games to Miami and being the Super Bowl, you know, for the Super Bowl, to get to the Super Bowl, and what it meant to. This could be the last opportunity for John Hanna. This could be the last opportunity for a Steve Nelson. Those guys that had really gave their blood and guts to the New England Patriots organization and what was on the line. And I think that everybody took that to heart. It didn't matter if you were a rookie or who you were contributing to that team to be the first New England Patriots team to get to the Super Bowl. And we felt that the pride that New England fans had. They were, behind us.
The Patriots had made history, winning 3 playoff road games and secured their first conference championship in franchise history. But their story was not over. They were about to face one of the greatest teams in NFL history in the Super Bowl.
I remember getting on the airplane flying back, and I remember saying to Raymond Berry, "Hey, we need to remind everybody, we're not finished. We got another game to play." And unfortunately, it took 2 weeks to play that game. But we were on such a high after the Orange Bowl victory and the Dolphins victory and all those things, we could never come back down to earth and get focused back in on another game.
Next time on the 1985 Super Bowl Sound Odyssey, the final game, Super Bowl 20. The Bears, the 46 defense, the fridge, the heartbreak, and the legacy of the team that made New England believe.
Introducing Coach Raymond Berry and the rest of the New England Patriots. So the introduction of the main characters, Raymond Berry and Mike Ditka's teams are on the field for Super Bowl 20.